Hi guys, I'm Michelle from Virtual Hand Care, and in this video I'm going to share with you some gentle finger and thumb stretches you can do in a cast. If you've been cleared by your doctor to do some finger and thumb exercises while you're waiting for your wrist to heal, then join me in this real-time exercise routine. These are going to just be gentle finger stretches. We're not doing a lot of active movement. And the reason for that is sometimes we need to kind of loosen things up a little bit before we go into some active movement. Keep in mind, active movement and passive movement, meaning you taking your other hand to stretch, those are not the same thing. You definitely want to make sure that you do active movement as well, because that can help with reducing your swelling. But for this particular video, I'm going to show you some gentle stretches you can do. Then of course you can continue on your own with some active exercises, or you can check out my other videos here where I have a lot more exercises you can do while you're in your cast. So let's get started. First, go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable, whatever position is comfortable for you, whether that's rested on a pillow or propped up on a table, whatever is comfortable. So the first stretch we're gonna do is what's called a passive extension stretch, and we're gonna go through all of the fingers. So that first stretch is going to look like this, where we're going to actually be trying to stretch our fingers as straight as we can go, within comfort, of course. So what you want to do is you want to extend your fingers as straight as you can. And if this is as far as you can go, that's fine. And what you want to do then is take your other hand and you want to place it where the thumb is on kind of the tip of the finger, and then your other fingers are on the back, wherever you can kind of fit them, depending on how high your cast goes. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to try to push the joint straight. You particularly want to work on pushing this joint right here straight. That's kind of the problem child. That's the joint that gives you the most trouble. So we definitely want to make sure that we keep ahead of that joint from getting stiff. So you push that joint as far as you can go, and then you relax. So you want to hold that stretch a couple of seconds. Then we're going to go ahead and go back again, work on stretching as straight as we can. Again, with emphasis on that joint, the PIP joint. Holding a couple of seconds, making sure those other fingers are nice and relaxed. And relax. Let's do one more to the small finger. Of course, you're going to want to do about 5 to 10 of these, depending on how you feel, depending on how stiff things are. If you only do about 5 and you feel like things are just starting to loosen up, then you may want to do a few more. Good. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to the ring finger. Again, we're going to work on pushing a little bit here and then a little bit at the tip of the finger, and we're trying to provide some nice counter pressure here. So we're trying to push as straight as we can, trying to go and get as much extension as possible. And relax. And again, trying to push as straight as we can. Hold a couple of seconds. And relax. And again, push as much as we can. And relax. Good. Now we want to go to the middle finger. Again, making sure you have a little bit of counter pressure on the back of the middle finger down here, and then that counter pressure goes to the tip of the finger as well. And so as you push down with your fingers and then push up with your thumb, you're going to get some pressure and stretch in that PIP joint. And relax. And again, stretch. Make sure the other fingers are nice and relaxed. And relax. Let's go ahead and go to that index finger now. All right, again, pressure on the thumb, pushing up, and pressure from our other fingers on the back of the index finger now. And relax. And push up. And relax. And I'm going to go ahead and turn just so you can see it from this side. Push up as much as you can. If you can't quite turn your hand that way, that's okay. You can turn it whatever is comfortable for you. I'm just turning this so that you can get another view. Good, and relax. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the thumb. Now we're gonna go ahead and stretch the thumb out into some extension. So you're gonna take your other hand and you're gonna work on stretching the tip of the thumb and as much as you can with the whole thumb. Again, that depends on how much of your thumb is included in the cast. So you wanna go ahead and get a little bit of counter pressure, a little bit lower here on the thumb, and then the index finger, the fingers of the other hand are gonna provide some counter pressure as well. So you're gonna put a little stretch down with the thumb and a little stretch back with the other fingers. All right, I'll show you from this position, and you're gonna try to just stretch out nice and gently. And you might really feel this one because this tendon right here that helps bend the tip of the thumb can get very tight because it actually crosses down past the radius, which if you broke your radius, you might feel that one. And then relax. And again, stretch, hold a couple of seconds. And relax. And again, one more time, stretch out. And relax. And again, you could do those 5 to 10 reps to all those fingers, working on trying to get those fingers straight. Now let's work on going in the opposite direction and trying to stretch them into a little bit of flexion. So what you want to do here is you want to go ahead and we're looking just to stretch the first 2 joints of the finger. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and lightly try to stretch just the DIP and the PIP joints of the fingers. And you go to as far as you can go. Now your cast might block your small finger a little bit, so just do what you can for that. And back up. And stretch down. And notice when I'm doing this stretch that I'm not bending at the knuckle at all. I'm just trying to work on just stretching just the 2 little joints in our fingers. And the other fingers are nice and relaxed with that. Back up and stretch down. And back up. Let's do one more. Good. Okay, now let's go to the ring finger. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and just stretch down at the first 2 joints as much as you can go. And you know what? If that's all you can do, that's fine. That is a great place to start. Everybody's starting point is going to be a little different. And it really does depend on how much swelling and stiffness and how long you've been at this for. Let's do one more of the ring finger. And each time you're building onto that stretch, hopefully going a little bit farther and farther each time. Okay, we're gonna go to the middle finger now, stretch down. Again, making sure that you keep that knuckle as straight as you can. Hold a few seconds and back up. And back down. Good. Now let's go ahead and go to the index finger. Trying to pull down and stretch. Other fingers are nice and relaxed. And you can change the position of your fingers if you feel like you can't quite get a good stretch by kind of pulling down. Another alternative way to stretch your fingers is to take your other hand and hold back here and then push down this way. You can do it like that, or for some of you, this way, where you put your thumb and your finger this way, might also be a little more comfortable for you. As long as you're just stretching just the PIP and the DIP. And back up, stretching, and back down. And notice I'm holding more of the flexion than I am the extension because we already worked on extension. Okay, now let's bring our attention to the thumb. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on trying to stretch that thumb as far as we can go. Again, your cast might really be blocking your thumb, and I'm sure you probably don't have as much mobility as I do here. So again, do what you can. If this is the only joint that's free, then work on stretching your IP. If this joint is free, then you're gonna wanna work on stretching both joints across your hand. But if this one is immobilized in your cast, then just work on that one. So again, go ahead and get comfortable. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and stretch across your palm as far as you can go. And just take note that sometimes that can be pretty sensitive in that thumb. So if you need to kind of have your thumb kind of come out a little bit away from the cast, that can feel a little more comfortable for you. If you have some sharpness on your cast, sometimes adding a little liner or even filing down that little sharp area can help. So again, we're holding just a couple of seconds as far as you can go. And straightening back up. And again, coming across as far as you can go, holding. And back up. And again, fingers are nice and relaxed. And back up. And again, you would want to do about 5 to 10 of those flexion stretches to each finger and to your thumb. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to work on more composite flexion, meaning we're going to try to bend all 3 joints as far as we can go down into the palm. This one may be very difficult for some of you, so again, do what you can. Now what we're trying to do is we're going to try to come and bring the fingers down together into more of a composite motion. That means the MP is going to get stretched, the PIP and the DIP together. And again, this one, you just do what you can. So I'm going to show you this way, and then I'll also show you another alternative way. So this way, you can try to stretch this way, and then come back up, and then pull down this way. Another alternative way to stretch down into that composite flexion is to take your other hand and push the knuckle down first, nice and gently, and then the thumb of your other hand is going to continue to push down. Just to what you can do, relaxing those other fingers. And back up. Now I know for a lot of you, most of the time the cast is made way too high, in my opinion, and it does not let you bend very much. So again, really do what you can when it comes to that small finger, because that small finger is going to be very stiff when the cast comes off, especially if the cast is made too high. And back up. And we're going to go to the ring finger now, stretching down in full flexion as much as possible. Holding a couple of seconds. Each time trying to go a little bit farther and farther. And back up. Let's do one more on that ring finger. Good. And now let's go to the middle finger. Again, trying to push down all 3 joints as much as you can. Relaxing those other fingers. Really, the emphasis for this stretch is on flexion, not so much extension. But if it feels good to kind of go back up through extension, that's okay. You can add that to this exercise. Good, now let's go ahead and do that index finger, coming down and pushing the knuckle and stretching, holding a couple of seconds. and back up. And again. And you can try to keep that thumb out of your way as much as possible. If your thumb is kind of casted in that position, you might find it kind of hard to move that index finger down. So just do what you can for that. If the thumb gets in the way for the curl, then just stretch whatever joint you can do with that index finger. Eventually, trying to go down as far as you can. One more time. Good. Now, one last stretch. What I want you to do is to try to take all of those fingers and just do a nice light stretch down into your palm. Place the fingers down to where you just stretched them, just nice and gently. Try to bring that thumb across. Trying to do a very gentle, light fist. So you're stretching the fingers down. See if you can kind of bring that thumb a little bit across your fingers there. Hold those, stretch those down nice and lightly. Hold a couple of seconds and then release, but I want you to try to hold that if you can. So we're just ending this routine with a little bit of an active hold. Just so you can kind of take a look at those fingers and the thumb and see how much mobility you got from these stretches. And then nice and lightly, just go ahead and kind of lightly move those fingers. And from here, you could find that then going into some of your active exercises might feel a little better because you went through and you gave care to each individual little joint of the fingers. And you might notice you get a little bit more active motion going. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. And share this video with friends and family that maybe recently injured their wrist or hand so they can get those fingers starting to move right away. And check out these videos here that YouTube is suggesting for you. Thanks for watching.